Rams and Chiefs both coming off wins again this weekend. Pat Mahomes threw for 358 yards, 4 touchdowns in the Chiefs' win over a very good Bengals team. Mahomes now has 22 touchdowns to lead the league. As for the Rams, they remain the NFL's only unbeaten team. They blew out the 49ers 39-10. That guy right there, Todd Gurley, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. All right, CC, I'll start with you. Which team was more impressive yesterday, the Chiefs or the Rams?
Well, for one, when you get to this point in the season, I think my 98 team, we were 7-0 and we lost to Tampa Bay, I think, on a Sunday. So when you get to this point in the season, you know, from a continuity standpoint, from a confidence standpoint, that you're a good football team. It's just a matter of how good you're going to be, how many injuries you're going to sustain coming down the back stretch of the season. So the Rams, even getting to 7-0, like I was on a team that got to 7-0. That's a major, major accomplishment from a mental standpoint to be consistent. But what Kansas City did yesterday was far more impressive from the team they were facing, the quarterback, the offense they were facing, and the way the defense played. Now, Aaron Donald, 4 sacks. Let me tell you something. That's a career day for any player. So you'd be like, so how are you going to mention the Rams without mentioning that? But what they did against Cincinnati and Kansas City, I believe the confidence that this defense is going to have. Now, I believe that the Rams are a better football team, but had to be more impressed with Kansas City, Greg, and what they did last night to the Cincinnati Bengals.
I agree 100%, and it's because of who they played, their opponent. When you look at both of these teams' opponent, obviously the Cincinnati Bengals, who was leading their division, still leading their division, I believe, with that loss. So when I look at the Kansas City Chiefs, the way that they've been able to win has been impressive. My expectations for the Rams, and this is no disrespect to the Rams. We understand that they're a great football team, the best in the National Football League. But as far as being impressed, I'm watching the Kansas City Chiefs on my television screen in awe. I'm wowed by the misdirection, their ability to get receivers open, their defense stepping up, creating turnovers when they were the last. You would have thought the Cincinnati Bengals would have at least made it a shootout against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but what the Chiefs were able to do defensively as well as offensively, it's been very impressive.
I'm glad you mentioned Aaron Donald. Just quickly here, when you see a guy get 4+ sacks, we've seen that before. It's almost always an edge player against an overmatched tackle. We saw, I want to say it was Adrian Claiborne last year against Eric Flowers in a nationally televised game where Flowers could get no help. Or
you got 12 sacks over Eric Flowers.
I mean, it was or Winston Justice gave up a huge game to OCU Manura years ago. Like, you see that sometimes. An interior guy getting 4 sacks like that, when they're double teaming him every play, right, C? Or at least they're trying to.
They were trying to. He was magnificent. He put on a clinic last night.
And so now, for Aaron Donald, 0 sacks in his first 3 games of the year, 8 sacks in the last month of football. He has been tremendous. But what you're saying about the Chiefs is, how about this? In the last 2 weeks, Patrick Mahomes has had to throw into what Next Gen Stats calls a tight window 2 times total. Guys are running open. Like they scored 40 and 45 yards without Mahomes having to fit in any creases. Like one of the windows, one of those 2 passes, by the way, got picked against New England. The one in the end zone. Like these guys they're running open. You cannot scheme one guy out of the game.
And he's finding the guy.
Absolutely right. It's not like
everyone's run wide open.
Correct. He's finding the guy who has run wide open, and you can't scheme one guy out of it because, oh, well, that's what the Patriots did to Kelsey. Okay, how'd that end for him? I know they won the game, but not because they stopped the Chiefs' offense. Like, right now, the best thing going in football is the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I know a lot of people think the Rams are the best team, but the best thing going in football right now is the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Okay. Their defense played great yesterday. Why did their defense look that way yesterday and differently all the games before that?
no one cares. If they continue to look like that, we don't care, and they don't care.
But as long as Mahomes and this offense is putting up 35 points, is that what they're going to have to do every game, though?
No, they didn't look that way in the first half.
Exactly, and when you look at this offense has been putting up points all season long. So their defense has had opportunities to get after quarterbacks. They've been playing with the lead. They've had opportunities to get after the quarterback, create turnovers. They just haven't been able to do those things. But I don't care. I don't want to say I don't care how my defense plays when my offense is this great, because sometimes your offense can become your defense because you know how bad your defense could potentially play. But when I look at these guys running wide open really quick, I give credit to not only Andy Reid, not only Patrick Mahomes, these receivers, but the offensive line giving them time. Everybody takes credit when you're having this amount of success. I've never seen guys run this wide open. Yes, I have. The other team that we're talking about, the St. Louis Rams, they have a lot of guys that run wide open as well.
Yeah, Jenna, great question about their defense. It's going to always be in question, but the players that they have put in to replace the guys that have been injured, you can see that they're starting to get a knack. So it's not a matter of sometimes what they can do. Well, let me call a defense of stuff that they stay away from their weaknesses. Orlando Scandrich is giving them a little lift at the corner spot, as long as they keep him off of A.J. Green one-on-one on the outside. So starting to understand that Ford is playing at a high level on that defense, getting them a pass rush week in and week out, even though they don't have Justin Houston. But the ability to understand those replacement players, what they can't do, and you can see their defensive coordinator putting them in winning position, and that's what we saw last night.
Bob Sutton. And I'm not going to sit here and make the case the Chiefs have some underrated, really good defense. What I am going to tell you is a lot of the yards and points they've given up has been after they are way ahead. In their 5 of their wins, up 14-3 on the Chargers, 21-0 on Pittsburgh, 35-7 on San Francisco, 23-0 on Jacksonville, 38-7 last night. So in those 5 wins, they've started the games 131-13. So the defense does play a little softer. They do drop back a little bit. Now against New England, they couldn't get a critical stop when they needed it. But I think some of the numbers are a little inflated.
Greg, the most important down in football was what?
Third down.
Third down. They've been good at third down.
75%.
So that right there is what we're going to watch going forward. Turnovers in third down.
They've been amazingly the best third and long defense in football this year.
Greg, thanks for stopping by. Much appreciated. Got to take a break. Coming up, did Cam Newton just pull the plug on the Eagles season? That's next on First Things First.
Thought he might go with the curveball. You know, I think second down's underrated.
First down.
Yeah.